Life occasionally applies a level of pressure that feels absolute. Problems arrive in clusters, the exits appear sealed, and mental exhaustion sets in. When the weight becomes heavy enough, fissures begin to web across our resolve, making us feel trapped in a situation with no clear floor. In this state of depletion, the brain defaults to a defensive loop. It looks backward, searching for blame, and cycles through questions like, "Why is this happening to me?" or "What if everything is about to fail?" But if you observe how different people navigate the exact same level of hardship, you find a distinct variation in the results. Under the same crushing circumstances that cause one person to shatter, another remains focused. This resilience isn't a result of being immune to pain or having a simpler life. These individuals feel the same friction and the same fear as anyone else. The difference is found in the specific way they filter their reality, a series of internal adjustments that change how the mind categorizes the threat. One common way we deplete ourselves is by spending finite mental energy on the unchangeable past or hypothetical futures. Every minute spent worrying about what might go wrong is a minute of fuel burned on a fire we can't actually put out. When we look at a crisis, we see a landscape of noise. To find the path out, we have to filter it through a single, functional question. What can I do to improve this situation right now? Asking that question causes the irrelevant data to vanish. The regrets of yesterday and the fears of tomorrow fall away, leaving only the small, grouped cluster of choices that are actually within our control. Focusing strictly on these controllable actions provides the mind with a sense of agency. It replaces the feeling of being a victim of the crisis with the reality of being an active participant in the solution. Even with a plan, the immediate shock of a crisis triggers a surge of volatile emotions, sudden anger, sharp fear, or a deep sense of despair. If we allow these intense spikes to dictate our next move, we often make reactive, split-second decisions that result in long-term damage. The response of the resilient mind is to prioritize time over speed. This isn't about ignoring the fear or burying the anger. It is about pausing to look at the emotion before moving with it. This pause is a physiological requirement. By withholding the immediate reaction, we allow the initial chemical surge of the stress response to subside. This cooling-off period gives the rational centers of the brain the necessary space to re-engage, ensuring that our final decisions are guided by clarity rather than a temporary emotional hijack. Even when we are acting logically, the pain of a difficult period can become its own source of paralysis. It is easy to stay stuck in the unfairness of the situation, focusing only on the discomfort. We move past this by reframing the difficulty as a mandatory lesson. We stop asking why it happened and start asking what the experience is trying to teach us. Extracting a lesson from hardship converts the pain into a future asset. A life of constant ease leaves the mind untested. It is the pressure of the forge that creates the durability needed for the challenges that haven't arrived yet. However, some crises are so massive that our personal effort and logical reframing eventually reach their limit. When we realize that our own actions are insufficient to change a devastating outcome, the risk of falling into total despair becomes very real. At this boundary, resilience shifts from cognitive tactics to spiritual grounding. It involves anchoring the mind in patience and placing trust in Allah to manage the weights that we cannot carry ourselves. This trust is built on the certainty that no trial is permanent. It is the belief that every period of hardship is finite and that ease is the inevitable successor to the struggle. Surrendering the uncontrollable to a higher power provides a psychological floor. It allows us to endure a prolonged crisis without the fear of being completely destroyed by it. A truly strong person isn't defined by the absence of struggle. They feel the weight, they experience the fear, and they choose to move through it by using a specific system of thought. We cannot choose the hardships that walk through our door. We cannot prevent the world from applying pressure, but we have complete authority over how we respond. We decide where to put our energy, how to process our feelings, what lessons to extract, and where to place our faith. These internal shifts turn the inevitability of a crisis into the very tool that uncovers our human strength. We don't just survive the pressure, we are reshaped by it.